Hey everybody, it's Wayne at Mighty Armory. I just want to demonstrate how the XM-A or S works on an AP press, lever or auto-driven, as a hold down. So basically is this. Let's say you're turning the die in. You have a case in the station. In this station right now there's a 45. So you're going to turn this down. You're going to feel a stop. So that's the tip of the hold down making contact with the web of the case, meaning the floor of the case on the inside. So if you'll notice, I can turn this and right there it stops completely. I turn this down enough to push the shaft up 20 thousandths to a stop on the cap. So we don't want to be there because now you have a constant hold on the case, which doesn't allow it to find center. So we're going to back it back out. We're going to turn it back down until it stops. Then we're just going to snug it just the tiniest a bit, maybe a quarter turn. That's going to leave us 15 thousandths or so for the case to rise in the station and find center. And what takes place is this. As the pressure is applied onto the case pushing upward, the spring is going to collapse that 15 thousandths or so. Maybe 20, you can leave it at 20 by not snugging it. And the spring pressure works against the swage. When the swage is about halfway through the process, you reach a stop point that's inside the cap. Once that stop point is reached, the swage can finish removing the crimp or uniforming the pocket for easier priming. So that's the benefit of the XM-A or S. Same design, only difference, the A is an alloy, the S is a heat-treated steel, generally bought for Autodrive presses, running 2,000, 3,000, processing fast on a Dillon 2000 or 1100 for that matter. So that's how the die works. Now I'm going to show you how the die assembles. So we have the body, we have the guide. Going to drop that in. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the shaft. We're going to put the hold down tip on it. Screw that on. You might want to put a drop of Vibratite, the purple. When you see about a 1/16 of an inch gap here, we should put a couple of drops in there and then turn this in, snug it with a 3/16 wrench, you're good to go. Alright, so now here's the next part. We take our threaded insert, which is part of the patent pending on this die, and we drop the shaft down into it. Okay, now what we do is we put the spring on the shaft like so. Then we take and we put the spring in the opening. On the top side is a well of the guide, and we turn this down. So that spring is sitting inside that well, 600 thousandths deep, so everything remains concentric. Simply hand tighten this, that's all you have to do. You put your spring on, which works both for decapping and for swage, which we'll get into, and then you simply put your cap on. The screws down all the way, leaves that 20 thousandths gap. If you want a little less gap, when you install it, just turn it a 1/4 inch. You'll feel the tension and you'll reduce that gap to 15 thousandths. If you want to put it all the way down, which I wouldn't do, you can. It's up to you. Alright, so now let's get into a cycling mode here and we'll show you how this works. Let me grab a 45 case here first and a 308 case behind it. So we cycle. By the way, this one's in the priming station. Works the same way as the swage station. exactly the same, so you get consistent priming with it as a hold down die. Okay, so now coming down, we're over the 45. You see that little bit of spring tension on that handle? Well, that's the spring working against the case as you bring the plate up. That's what that is. Without that, this press, with the handle would just drop. That's the way they're designed. So that really illustrates how that's working. All right, so now that's going to cycle forward. Now we're going to do a 308 case. This die will do a 380 on up to a 308 case. Now, that means you can do a Creedmoor, an arc, 22, 250, anything in between 380 and 308 length and diameter. Okay, so I just want to show you how the XM series die works while decapping. Obviously, this can be done at high speeds, medium speeds, low speeds, whatever you want. But for instructional purposes, to give you an up close and personal look, we're going to do it on this turret press. This is a Redding T7 with a Creedmoor head. Bingo, you hear the snap? So that prime is history. You can go over and over and over and over again. Everything is so concentric and strong, it's just going to live. You're not going to be troubled with breaking and bending pins all the time. But here's a cool part. If you're a commercial guy and you don't want to waste any time at all, take that out, take the spring off, pull the shaft out. Well, the spring in our guide, by the way, this is patent pending, the entire die, including this insert, first of its kind. Take that out, grab a backup. Your commercial, you should have one or two of these just in case. Although this new pin is just incredible, absolutely incredible. Drop that in, spring back on, cap back on. That's how long it takes to change a pin that got hammered. That's it. 15-20 seconds. You just saved yourself a lot of misery having to replace a pin. A lot of misery. There isn't a die in the industry that works without tools and will swap out as quickly as this die. So if you're looking to make time, or you don't want to deal with the BS, XMS, XMA, you've got the die you need. Okay, so I want to just demonstrate the case guide and our backing spring, which you saw in the earlier portion of this video. So when the case goes in, it sets right there. It's just about, 20 thousandths above the lug groove. So you're perfectly positioned all the time on the press to use this as a hold down die. And just for fun, have a good day.